can choose to walk in the right direction, right? Because if they don't walk in the right direction, they'll never get there. So even if you live in fucking Syria and an F-18 blows up your house, well, you have two choices. You can rebuild one knowing that it'll happen again. You can rebuild one knowing nothing's gonna change. Or you can pack your shit, say, I may die on that journey to that fucking border. I may have to get shot. I may have to dig. I may have to sleep underground, like under the dirt so they don't see me. I may have to turn into Rambo 13 for 15 seconds. My feet may bleed, and I may not have hands by the time I get there. But I believe that staying here will not fucking get me anywhere. But going there, I have 1% chance of getting in a better life than I'm here. Am I willing to suffer here to there for the opportunity of trying? And most people are not willing to suffer to try. They're willing to suffer as long as there's a guarantee that they're going to make money.
Do you think anybody even has the exposure in life to even understand that like if they go through the suffering, like that could be the end result? Because
I don't think anybody. I think everybody knows that. But I think everybody gets discouraged once the suffering starts. Once the pain, once you start walking, like you realize you're like, fuck this, I'm done. You start walking out that door, what happens? The world happens. Everything happens. The world starts testing you. A sandstorm comes. You're like, oh, my eyes hurt. You immediately give up, right? You're like, I can't take this. I'm going back. You get through that. Suddenly, there's a new bombing in that place. You're like, it's the same everywhere. It's never going to change. I'm going back. So it's like you don't see it through to change. And it's the same thing when you start a business. When you're building a business, you're going to go through stages where it's like you quit your job, right? How many people want to quit there? Everybody wants to quit their job. You quit your job, you walk out the door, you're like, I'm free. You know you want freedom. You're ready for it. You walk out the door, boom, it hits you. Your car breaks down. You don't have an income. You're like, my God, what am I going to do? I can't survive without my car. I need a job tomorrow morning. That guy just goes back to work. Now, the guy that sees it through, I'll Uber, fuck it. I'll get to another place. I'll do what I need to do at home, you know? That guy goes through, suddenly his mom gets sick. Okay, I need health insurance. I need to go back and get a job so I can have health insurance. So, like, nobody wants to suffer through the process because the process, the resistance the universe gives you is a natural progression. The universe is predetermined to say you are here, you want to go here, well, I'm not going to make it easy, so here's all these layers you need to break through. So you want to cross that bridge, but this bridge has many obstacles you need to cross. Okay, well, I'll get halfway through it, but it looks scary. I'm going to run back. Well, good, because you belong there, so go there. You're born poor, you need to be poor. But if you want to break out of that, you have to break through that resistance, the same way as people save in their bank account. Like when you save $1,000 in your bank account, you save it because you're like, I'm going to save it for a rainy day. Okay, your car breaks down. Like halfway through, you're like, God damn it, now I have only $500 left. So then you keep saving. You're like, okay, I'm going to see it through. Oh, your friend calls. Can I borrow 100? You're like, yeah, it's my best friend. I'm going to give it 100. Oh, you're back to 400 again. You're like, damn it. You save 1,000 again. Suddenly your grandma calls and it's like, hey, my funeral is coming up. I need $800. Oh, you're back at $200 again. And then you get to a place where you're like, God damn it, I'm not growing. But reality is you are growing because you've still taken care of your car, your friend, and your grandma, right. And you still have 200 in your account. And if you were at zero, you would have had negative 5,000 by now and being dead. So technically, the fact that you don't have more money doesn't mean you haven't grown. So when you eventually keep going, eventually the problems end coming because your grandma doesn't die 3 times and your friend doesn't need money every week. So it's like eventually now you're at 2,000, and then you have another emergency come up for 500. Now you're at 1,500. So you've already broken through the first layer. But because the process takes so long and so much time, most people give up. So by the time someone says, well, I needed $10,000 to start a business, and they get to the place when they're about to start a business, they're done. They've lost everything because they gave up. They didn't get consistent because the results didn't come fast enough. So they ran away and they gave up. Rachel yesterday said something really interesting. We're in the car, we're driving, and she says, I never find clothing stores that fit anything in my body. Like meaning I'm trying to put something in such a it's tiny. And I say, well, most businesses are started, I know you don't know, but most businesses are started because there's a need, there's a personal need. It's like I'm looking for this software, and this software doesn't exist, I'm gonna make it because it's a convenience to me. She's like, where am I gonna find the money to actually come up with a clothing store, make clothes? I'm not a fashion expert. That's the defeated attitude. This is the first obstacle. So it's like I've identified a need, and before I've even validated if this is a genuine business idea or not, I've given myself 3 reasons why I can't be successful. I'm not a fashion designer. I don't have the money to get started. I know nothing about retail. It's a fair argument. But not any of these 3 things are required in order to find out if your idea is right. 1, the easiest thing in the world. You already have clothes on your body that fit a petite person. Go to your own closet, make a list of all of the companies that sold you these clothes, go through their website and find all of their specific small sizes. Create a shell website that is literally an e-commerce store where you sell other people's clothes in there, and come up with this whole list of petite clothing that you've pre-selected. Start doing blogs and articles completely free on why these clothes are the best for petite people. See if people are committing to buying other people's clothes who are already fitting based on your recommendations. And only if they are, then focus on making better deals with these companies about like, hey, I've sold 14 of your tank tops last month. Can I get them cheaper? All of that for less than $1,000. You could have an e-commerce store selling petite clothing. And when you make $10,000, you can take that and white label half the clothes. And when you make $100,000, you can take that and create your own line within those clothes. So because business is progressive, most people don't want to endure that process, which takes them to the point in 10 years where they're at the zero baseline where they own their own clothing line and everything in between. But that 10 years, they still made money, they lived, they earned experiences, they suffered through the pain, but they don't want to do that. They want to get from the negative 6,000 to that zero line tomorrow. And if that's not there, hands off, no business. So nobody wants to be in business because it's painful. Everybody wants to be in business because it's fun and it's rewarding. It's not. 20 years later, I don't sleep. I can't fuck properly all the time because my mind is always going. I lost a marriage because my mind can't stop. But it's lost because people don't realize that if you want something bad enough, then you figure out a fucking way to get there, and you figure out everything and anything that is worth sacrificing between now and there in order to get to the exit.